everybody, West Atlanta Bourbon Society, we're back again. Today we're doing a really cool one for you. We're doing a wheated bourbon tasting or flight fight or whatever you call it. So we've got our bourbons poured up. We poured them all half-ounce pours-ish. And my lovely wife back there went ahead and mixed them all up. So we are drinking the same thing, but we don't know what it is. She mixed them up congruently together to figure out what it is. So we've got 1 through 5, and we'll take notes on it and just kind of drink through it. I'm Kevin, and this is
Scott.
Scott is one of our Bourbon Society members. He hangs out with us. He's usually in the background. He's not on a lot of the posts, but this one he actually was able to come out to. It was nice to have him out here with us. John was out here earlier. He left the Larceny barrel proof to get to run back home real quick. So we'll go ahead and start without him. You know, because of coronavirus, we want to keep the amount of people down to under 10. So we'll just do it together. I do have a little bit of water in between. Scott said he's going to do it without water, so that'll give us the difference between the two. And so we'll go ahead and dive into this. So number 1 will be on our leftmost. Cheers. Let's see what this is. Oh man. By the way, all these are single barrels except for the Larceny barrel proof. That's the only one that might not be a single barrel. I think it's a batch, but if it is a barrel, then it is. But all of them are single barrels. All of them are cask strength, except for the Rebel Yell, which is at 100, but it's also a 10-year, where most of these are not 10 years. So in the aroma, I get like a fruit note.
That's exactly what I wrote. Fruit.
Okay, you wrote the same thing. So fruit. Got like dark, rich fruit on the smell, a little bit of chocolate. The taste is woo. I try not to eat anything spicy today. I just ate like crackers and cheese and stuff to try to be able to figure this out. It's gonna be crazy because all these are wheaters. They're all kind of in the same, and 2 of them are in the same family. So it's, you know, it's kind of.
Light oaky cherry kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm getting like an oaky tobacco kind of, yeah.
It's something different, and I've never. Of course, there's 3 of these I haven't tried in a long time, so
Right.
I'm not sure.
It's got like a little bit of a I always say dank basement or dark basement. I'm sure y'all tired of hearing that. But it does have a little bit of that. Lends to be a little older maybe? I don't know.
Feels like a higher proof,
Get higher proof?
which makes me think Larceny barrel proof.
I don't know. See, with the dark fruit, I'm leaning more towards one of the Wellers. So I'm gonna say, and the finish.
I get a spicy finish still.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't fall off. It doesn't fall flat.
It finishes kind of not sour, but like tobacco. I'm gonna say Weller full proof. Which one do you say?
Larceny.
Larceny barrel proof. Okay. All right. So that's this glass. You drank a glass. I'll put that aside.
I'm right, man.
So I can fight with it later. He said, "Damn right, we can drink that." These are some good pours. Okay, we're drinking. Half glass to none. We're professional drinkers around here. By the way, alcohol sanitizer, they tell you to put that on your hands to, fix the coronavirus. I feel if you drink enough bourbon, with it being over 80 proof, your alcohol sanitizing your inside. So I think this helps for the coronavirus. That's my medical opinion. So if anybody's to ask, drink more bourbon to kill the coronavirus. All of us, none of us have a temperature, so we're all good. We're all still alive. Man.
It's a very light nose. I'm not getting much of anything.
Oh man, I like the nose. I get like a nutty nose.
I'm not getting anything.
Nothing? I'm getting like nuts and butter. So buttery nuts. Gotcha. Buttery nuts!
I'm going to taste it.
Oh wow. That was weird.
I'm looking for it.
There's only one here I haven't had in a while. But I don't think it's that. Buttery nuts. That's what I get. I'm serious. I get like burnt butter, brown butter nuts. Kind of like walnuts or, pecans.
My palate's off today. I'm not getting through to any one particular thing right now.
It's not as, so the other one had more flavor.
Yeah.
This one has like, muted flavors, more caramel. I would say caramel in the taste. Caramel, or caramel, however you say that. The tobacco is not really there. Oak. And the finish is kind of like, it goes away real nicely. It just finishes. Perfect finish.
I'm going to put a little caramel, but
I don't smell any dank basement or anything like that. I'm going to switch with you. I think this is the Larceny barrel proof. It tastes like Heaven Hill stuff. No offense. Tastes Heaven Hilly.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the Weller foolproof.
We'll try to save some so we can go back through and figure out which one's the best. So one of the things we want to do is figure out which one you like the best. So as you try these, kind of figure out which ones you like the best. If there's any in the bottom there, maybe you can put a little on your tongue.
I'll write them down as I go through,
As you go
and if
through,
I
yeah.
change it,
That's why I'm leaving just a little bit in the glass. If worse comes to worse, we can pause, we can walk away, she can figure out what it is by looking at the bottom barrel and pour another little shot for him if need be.
I'll leave some of the rest of these.
Okay, yeah. Alright, so we'll go to number 3, sir.
Yep.
Cheers.
Well, that's got a lot of floral in that one for me.
Get a lot of cinnamon.
I'm getting a little more spicy now too.
Has a long finish. Real hot and lingering finish.
It's hot, yes.
Hot finish, yeah.
Hmm.
Just a little hot on that finish.
I am going to,
I think that's a cinnamon bomb.
it's a tough one. I'm gonna have to move my first choice. I think I move my first choice to the Rebel Yell. And this one would be the Weller Foolproof.
Okay. I'm gonna move my choice as well. So I'm thinking this one is Larceny Barrel Proof. If you saw, I was going between this one and the last one. I said it was Larceny Barrel Proof. So I'm thinking this one's Larceny Barrel Proof now. And I'm thinking the other one might be Maker's Mark Cask Strength. Okay. So my number 1 was Weller Full Proof. My number 2 was Maker's Mark Cask Strength. My number 3 was Larceny Barrel Proof. Your number 1 was
Rebel Yell.
Rebel Yell. Okay.
Number 2 was Weller Foolproof.
Foolproof.
And number 3 was Larceny.
Larceny. Okay. So it looks like we both agree Larceny is the third one. So we're getting
How
close
did
to
that?
something. I don't know if that's we're either both on or we're both off. Cheers to that, right? Get a little heat on that one.
I think this is a Maker's Mark right off the bat.
You think?
Yep. I sure do.
To me, it's got that same smell as number 1. So I'm thinking it's one of these two. It's got that dark fruit.
Fruity, yes, that's.
Yeah, dark fruit. And like a non-sweet chocolate, so dark chocolate. Which lends to the same thing as the full proof. Now it's just which one's the full proof, which one's the antique. This one doesn't have a lot of mouthfeel in the taste. I mean, you get a little bit of fruit and a little bit of cinnamon spice. But on the back end, it just kind of, yeah, it kind of goes away a little bit. I don't get the tobacco in this either that I got in the first one, but let me check that real quick.
I get a little cinnamon. Very little. I get a little cherry here too.
I get cherry too. Like a ripe cherry. Or Bing or some kind of ripe cherry. So between this and number 1, if these two are Wellers, we don't know that, but I'm thinking because of the taste profile, I like 1 better than I like 4. I'm hoping that I'm picking the 4 that I like, versus this one. But so I'll say this one's Weller Antique,
That's what I put.
107.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And
We agree on that. We agree on that too. So number 3 and number 4 we agree on. 1 and 2 we're different, but 3 and 4 we kind of agree that those are the same. How do you feel versus the other ones on that one, that Weller?
as far as where I put them,
Yeah.
Full Proof number 2, 107 number 4.
Okay. Okay.
I like the taste of the one I just had, 4 better than 2.
Okay.
That's my number 2
That's your
choice
number
for
2
taste
choice,
right
okay.
now.
All right. And let's finish the last one here. Cheers to that. Ooh. The nose on this one. Jesus God. I'm gonna call this one the nose.
The nose on the first one was better. I get a fruity aroma on this one too. Maybe almost like a little rose petal or something.
You kind of get rose, cinnamon, a little hot on spicy on the nose.
Wow. Well,
Ooh.
I'm not changing anything else. I'm going with
Market, Maker's Mark.
Markers number 5.
That one's flat.
Very.
Where is number 2? There we go. Okay. So I get a little dank basement in number 2. Dank basement. I don't get it here, so I'm gonna change my number 2 to Rebel Yell. And I'm gonna make this. I'm copying you, Maker's Mark. Bias.
And these are all barrel proofs.
Except for the Rebel Yell.
Everybody else did.
Rebel Yell's 100 proof or 107 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it 107 or 100?
100.
100 proof. 100 proof. Yeah. But it's a single barrel. So it's a single barrel offering. They're all single barrel offerings except for maybe the Larceny, which might be a batch, but it says barrel proof, so it's supposed to be 1 barrel, but, you know, I don't know if they do.
Yep, I'm sticking with what I got.
Yeah, it's definitely hot.
Maybe way off on it, but I'm
So I
sticking.
get red hops on the mouth feel, which is definitely Maker's Mark. You're right on that. Finish is basically non-existent. Sweet, but short.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now that we've kind of tasted through all these, now we gotta rank them. That's crazy. All right. So we'll start this way and go back and kind of see where we put them. So the last shall be first. The first shall be last. I'm gonna put that one. I'm gonna put that one in 5th place. It'd be funny if I rate them like this. I was like, good job.
That one's number 4 for me. two, which I already had number two. Number three.
I really like number 3. I do.
I had it listed as my number one.
You got to listen to number 1. I kind of like that too. It's fantastic.
This is number four. It's 1, 2, 4. This one.
Oh, but the nose on number 2. It's just got this weird nose that none of the other ones have. It's like weird. It's like your grandfather's basement. We used to look at the pornos that didn't have, real pictures. They were the painted pornos. You know what I'm saying? You remember those ones?
I don't remember any of that stuff.
This is not a show for kids. This is to make you laugh. It just smells like so different. The smell on it, smell number 2 and tell me what you think about the smell.
Now that didn't come out right.
Think about the smell. Can you smell this?
Smell number 2.
Smell number 2, right?
Now see, this is a much better nose
Right.
now than
It shits on all the rest. I'm full of jokes today. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, I've got mine numbered based on what I think they are
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Okay. So my 2 and 3 are really close. Alright? So what we'll do for the reveal is we'll start off with our number 1s, which may be different on the rung. So we'll figure out where those are. So my number 1, as y'all can guess, was number 2. So number 2 was my number 1.
Number 3 was my number 1.
Number 3?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so mine is D. Yours is
A.
A. Okay. Is mine number 3A too? Yeah, okay. So we did do this right. It's right. Okay, so yours is A, mine is D. So let's see, what is A? No. You said D, right? A! Ho-ho! So your number 1 is Larceny Barrel Proof.
Yep.
Wow. Your number 1 was Larceny. What's my number 1? What's A? What's D, I mean? It must be over there. So it's got to be Rebel Yell.
What the hell is that? It's a D.
Is it Maker's Mark? Oh my God! Oh! What is Rebel Yell? Hold on. Let me see that.
B.
B? Wow. So my number 1 is Maker's Mark. I had it as Maker's Mark Cask, but then scratched it out and put Rebel Yell. So number 1 is Maker's Mark.
Maker's Mark is D.
Okay, so that was my number 1. My number 2 was number 1, which is this one right here,
My number 2 was number 4,
which is C.
which is this one. E.
E?
Yep, it's got to be one of Weller's.
Now E, I think, is,
Nope.
oh! Yep, your number 2 is Weller Antique.
That's exactly what I put.
Wow. And mine is C. C is Weller Foolproof. So I got that one right. And yours is which one?
107.
Which number?
My number 2.
That's my number 4. Okay, that was number 4 on there, right?
My
Okay,
number 2
4.
choice was 107.
And that's E, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright, so that was my number 4. I got that one right. My close number 3. So my number 2 and my number 3 were real close. My number 3 was A.
D. My number 3 is D. And that was Maker's.
D was Makers?
Yep.
Wow. That's crazy. And what is D on mine? Wait, D is makers, right?
D is makers.
That's number 3, right?
That was my number 3 pick. Oh, you're talking about what in... All right, you got jacked up here, brother.
Yeah, I got jacked up. Okay. So, my number 1 pick was Maker's Cask Strength, which is number 2. That's this one, D, right? My number 2 was Weller Antique. My number 3 was number 3, which is A. And A is... A is Larceny Barrel Proof. Nice. Okay, so that was my number 3. And your number 3 was what?
My
That
number
one,
is D.
which is Maker's Mark Cask Strength. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So his number 3rd was Maker's Mark Cask Strength. My number 3rd was Larceny. So if we are to do 1, 2, and 3, it'd be Maker's Mark is number 1. Number 2 is Weller Full Proof. Number 3 for me is Larceny Barrel Proof. Number 4 is Old Weller Antique. So that makes number 5 B. B is...
Wait, what did we say? E? Okay, that's that one. Okay, number 5 was B. My number 5 was...
number 4?
Nope, number 5 is B. Which is... Rebel Yell.
That's not B, is it? Let's see, look at the bottom now. Oh, it is B. Okay.
So I had mine right.
You put Rebel Yell as number 1. That was your number 5.
No, that's my number 5 choice of all. The number 1 pick, I thought was Rebel Yell.
Oh, okay,
But
right.
it was
okay.
my number 5 in order.
Right, okay.
So
okay.
my number 1 pick was number 3.
Right, okay.
My number 2 pick was number 4. My number 3 was
2.
was 2, and my number 4 pick was 5.
5, okay.
So my number 5 pick is B, which
And so this is Rebel Yell.
is correct. I got that right.
Jesus God, guys. So the Rebel Yell 10-year was my number 5 pick. It was your number 4 pick.
5. Number 5 pick.
That's number 1.
No, that's number. This is how I ranked it.
Okay.
The first pour I ranked as my 5th favorite.
Yeah, that's C. That's this one.
Yeah.
So that's C. Yeah, number 1 is C. Number 5 is B.
But I get you. I agree.
Yeah.
But I picked this as my 5th.
That's
Oh,
your
I
fifth
see what you're
choice,
saying.
right?
It's
Yeah,
A.
it's your 5th point, right? Yeah.
It was
There you
A.
go. There you go. Yeah.
All right, gotcha.
No, C. It's C. Number 1 is C, right? Let me see. What's your number 1? Yeah, C. Okay. All right. So number 1 is C, which is Weller Foolproof. So you pick Weller Foolproof as the 5th pick. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. So the difference between $380 or $400 secondary versus about $100 secondary for the Weller Antique. And your Antique was number...
What letter was it?
4. It was number 2.
He was my number 2 pick.
Wow, so you like the Weller Antique way better than the Foolproof.
Yep.
Yeah. That's crazy. And that shows that it doesn't always have to be the most expensive bottles. Right, yeah. That's cool. And I'm so surprised that Rebel Yell, the one that I thought would do the best, really didn't show that well. It was number 5 for me.
Rebel Yell was B.
It was the last one down here. That's a B.
Okay.
And that's your B, right? Let me make sure.
That should be.
Yeah, that's your B. That should be B. See if D up here. That's
Yeah.
B. Okay. Yeah, so Rebel Yell, the last one, is the one that I said was sweet and short on the finish, which would make sense. But it's crazy that I thought that was when you do it like this, you don't know what is what. So it helps you actually form an opinion on the taste of the profile and not bias on age statement, years, anything else. I thought that the Rebel Yell would have showed way better than that. And I'm surprised at the Maker's Mark Cask strength, because that was one I didn't like. It was hot in the beginning, but it was my number one pick. Oh my god.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
That was a tough one.
That's crazy, that Maker's Mark Cask strength. And what did it rate for you? It rated number 3 for you, so it was high on your list too. It was number 1 on mine, 3 on yours.
Yeah, it was number 3 on mine.
Wow.
Yeah, it rated number 3, but I thought it was Weller foolproof.
Okay, and yours is,
Which
let's
one?
see, number 1 was
My number 1 was Larceny.
Larceny Barrel Proof. Wow. Number 2 was Old Weller Antique.
Yep.
Number 3 is Maker's Mark. Number 4 is Rebel Yell, 10-year, and number 5 was the Weller Foolproof. Okay, so just to recap, guys. So for me, my number 1 was Maker's Mark, which is crazy. I can't believe that. Then Weller Foolproof, sounds about right. I like Weller Foolproof. Then Larceny Barrel Proof, sounds about right. I like Larceny Barrel Proof. Then Old Weller Antique, and then Rebel Yell 10. Wow, that hurts my heart. And then, and then for him, it was Larceny Barrel Proof was his number 1. So his favorite is Larceny Barrel Proof.
Yep.
$54.99, maybe $100 on secondary. Not that bad.
The foolproof?
No, Larceny Barrel Proof.
Oh, they're barrel proof. Yeah.
Yeah, Larceny,
Yeah.
Larceny, which is Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
At that.
That's a good one.
So Heaven Hill, then Old Weller Antique, then the red stuff, then Maker's Mark, then Rebel Yell, and at the end of his journey is the Weller Foolproof. Wow. What was it that you didn't like about the Weller Foolproof? Just to kind of get an idea. What was some notes you put down you didn't really like too much about it?
That was the one I couldn't find anything on.
Okay.
It didn't hit me. I got nothing.
Okay. There was no flavor that popped out at you or anything like that. Okay.
A little bit of caramel I tasted, but that's number 2. Still, it's just a bourbon. I mean, it's not a.
Yeah, that's Maker's Mark. Yeah. So this is Weller Foolproof. That's the Weller.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would make sense. Just a little spicy, but
Yeah.
nothing great to me.
Nothing to it, huh? That's crazy.
There you have it.
There you have it, guys. You see that? So look, it doesn't, first of all, it doesn't always have to be the most expensive bottle. Especially in his case, because in his case, the most expensive bottle here is probably this one, and this one was his number 5th pick, where it was my number 2nd. But what's funny is the Rebel Yell way down there at the end, I thought I loved. I was last night talking crazy crap about it. I was sitting there drinking, oh, this is gonna win, this is the best, da 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 da. I can't wait to put it against all these other ones. It was my last pick, and it was his 4th pick. So we both kind of agreed on that one being towards the end. And it's a 10-year single barrel. To me, it tastes better than Old Rip Van Winkle, which I would love to. One day I'll find an Old Rip Van Winkle. We'll do a blind between the Old Rip Van Winkle and the Rebel Yell 10-year and see which one matches up. We'll do a blind to that too. But wow, for that to be dead last on me and number 2 for you, number 4 for you, which is the second to last. Wow. And to see that Maker's Mark was my number 1, his number 3, and Larceny Barrel Proof was my number 3, his number 1. like, for those two to do so good is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So basically, these two, Larceny, Barrel Proof, Maker's Mark, this was kind of mine, kind of his last one, and then it goes like this. So if you were to look at how things rated, Jesus God, that's the lineup. So number 1 would be Larceny Barrel Proof, because I put that number 3, you put that number 1.
Uh-huh.
Maker's Mark, which I put number 1, you put number 3. So these two are kind of like tied for number 1. It's almost the same score. I put Willow Full Proof 2, you put it 5. Then Old World Antique, I put it number 4, you put it number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, maybe we should switch these. It might be more like that. And then number 5 for me and number 4 for you is the Rebel Yell 10-year.
Yep.
So this is how it fares, guys. So it looks like Larceny Barrel Proof is the bottle to buy. That's crazy.
Absolutely.
But for that to be the bottle to buy, and then for the Maker's Mark to be the second, when I opened it, I hated it. It was hot. I thought I didn't like it. I threw it in there just because I needed another weeder. It was Maker's. I thought that was going to be dead last. I could have sworn that one was going to be dead last.
Now this one was a cask strength single barrel.
Single barrel. It was Bill Samuel's last barrel that he did. So it may have a little bias because of the fact that it was a honey barrel that he did. It was his last barrel before Robert Samuels took over.
It'd be interesting to do a side by side with that and a new cask strength.
Yep, and see what the difference is between
You
that.
won't find that bottle anywhere.
You won't find it no more. Yeah, it's done. Yeah.
So this is pretty interesting. I was quite surprised myself.
This is cool.
Like I said before, I've tried the full proof once about a month ago. I had a little pour at the house, and
Yeah.
it didn't rock my boat. You know,
And see, I didn't like that one, really, to be honest. I was like, it was meh. I've had better, but it scored number 2 for me, and it was the tobacco and the oak and the dark fruit and the chocolate was what I got from it. The finish was real tobacco-y. I almost put that as number 1. The only difference was I got a dank basement out of the Maker's Mark. That's the only reason I put Maker's Mark above the Well of Full Proof. But those two were kind of fighting each other. And then the Larceny Barrel Proof was the close third. God, dog. That's just crazy. Well, as bourbon junkies say, and other podcast people like us, the proof is in the pour. That's crazy. It's crazy that it happened like that. Well, guys, keep drinking bourbon. Stay coronavirus free. Alcohol sanitize your insides. It'll work. Remember, I said play a doctor on TV. Cheers, guys.